the number line. When you draw a number line, you really do need to use a ruler or some kind of a major straight edge so that the thing is straight. There are arrows on both ends of the number line. Now, our textbook does not put arrows on both ends because they can't fill one of them in. So the one that they have at the arrow on is the way it continues to go. We can fill it in, so we put arrows on both ends. That indicates that this is a line with no beginning and no end. It goes on and on forever. Now, generally, we look at the kind of middle part of the line. So we would start by putting a 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Please keep those as even as you possibly can. You don't want to have them cramped up in one place or the other. And you need to make your line big enough that everybody can read your table. This is not a satisfactory line. Okay? I can get out my magnifying glass to read it. That's not satisfactory. Make it big enough so everybody can see it. All right, now we are going to graph on this line what is known as an inequality. And we're going to graph the part that says -1 is going to be less than 0. Okay? That's true. Now suppose we wanted to have -1 is less than x. Where would x be on that number line? Where would it be, Justin?
On the right side of the 0.
Okay, it would be this way, right? Actually, if -1 is less, it would start at -1 and go that way all the way across. That's a good way to do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But it is best if you put the x first. So with what Alec just asked, we could rewrite that as x is greater than -1. And that makes a little more sense. That means we're going to start at -1. But this says it has to be greater than -1. So on a number line, to indicate everything that's greater than and not an equal sign, we put an open circle at -1. That says you're going to come right up to it, but you're not going to include it. And then we color the line. And we color on the line, right just like this. Make it nice and thick. You know, this is your chance, if you're using colored pencils, to really have it indicated or whatever. But you fill it clear in, and when you get to the arrow at the end, you fill that in as well. Okay? So this is actually x is greater than -1. All right, now suppose we want to find x is less than 2. So we draw another line. Where is 2? Where do we find 2? Michael, come and show me where 2 is. You just come and put your finger. Right there, okay. 2 is not included, so we have an open circle, and less. This shows us the way we're going to color. If you look at the thing, it tells you you're going to color that way. Are there any questions about that? Yeah.
Like how far, like what number goes?
Okay, you need to have a minimum of 5 numbers on your number line. And for the most part, you probably should have 0. You don't have to have 0. I mean, if you were graphing numbers just between certain things, like between 50 and 80, you wouldn't want to go clear down to 0. But for what we're going to do, you put 0 in the middle. And you should go at least 2, and more probably, on either side. You probably don't need to go any further than this. But you do want numbers, enough numbers to know that you're graphing. All right, so now then, what happens if it's not just greater than? You've got your number line. And this time we're going to have all numbers that are greater than or equal to 0. That line underneath the symbol says equal to. So you've got two possibilities. You can have 0 and everything bigger. So at 0 we fill in the line. It makes a dot. Not just that open circle, but it's filled in. We go that way because that's the way the line goes, and there we are. Now, why do we fill it all in? Because we're talking about every single number. Fraction, decimal, whole numbers, irrational numbers, every possible number that could fit could be greater than 0. The only way that's going to happen is for that line to be solid. So that's why you fill it all. All right? Bradley?
Wait, what is the line under the,
It means
greater than?
equals. So that says that we're going to, it could be 0. Or it could be everything bigger than 0. So this says greater than or equal to 0.
So how would we write the answer?
The answer's up here. You just write this down. This is the problem. So this is what you'd write down, but this is what you're looking for, is that number line. All right, anybody else have questions? Okay.